All right, Shredda, talk to the people, man.
Alright, so they just finished doing the Shredda's vegan burnout. You know what I'm saying? It's an intense one. And we're going to just talk about foods high on the alkaline and positive on the pH scale, you know? So we're going to get into that today.
And that would be over 7 pH, something like that.
Yes,
That's the
yes.
positive?
Yes.
Okay.
About 6.8 and higher would be on the positive side, I believe.
Okay. Let's talk about, high alkaline foods. Let's talk about some of the vegetables, man. What about avocados, man? What do you think about the avocados?
Avocados, great, especially for vegans. Putting on mass and having that good fat and that heart-healthy fat and that fat that you need for your liver, so you don't develop fatty liver. And it's pretty high in fiber as well. And those omega-3s and fatty acids, very instrumental in avocados. I love those.
What do you think about asparagus?
Asparagus is great too. Water retention, you know, taking care of the water weight and sodium. Another one high in fiber and pretty good on the pH balance as well.
How about bell peppers?
Bell peppers, very good. Vitamin C enriched. I like to dice those up and put them raw or saute them.
How about cucumbers?
Cucumbers. Those, I don't really like the taste as far as, what's good, bro? I don't like the taste as far as like the raw part, but like as far as juicing and putting it in the water and for detoxification, I like the cucumbers for that.
How you pronounce that? Garbanzo beans?
Garbanzo beans.
Yeah.
Chickpeas. One of my favorites.
Yeah,
It takes pretty long to cook, so I like the lentils, the grain. Instead, I like going with those because those are faster to cook or you're short on time, and they have like some of the same properties as far as pH and alkaline and, you know, protein and fiber and iron. So I like the chickpeas, the garbanzo beans. So I would recommend soaking them overnight.
How about the kale?
Kale, I try and get as much of that as possible. You know, that's like a powerful. So many rich in a lot of vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin K, folic acid,
vitamin A,
like iron, you know, like iron like beef. It has iron, as much iron as beef, so, and very good for your skin, you know. I like kale. That's like Popeye should have been eating kale instead of spinach.
Let's walk up over here, man, because we're having some words here. We'll continue to talk. We're having a little argument over there, so we're going to talk. All right, yeah, talk about lettuce. What about lettuce, man? Talk about the lettuce.
Lettuce. Stay away from the iceberg lettuce. So
okay.
I got that. A lot of my stuff, I do research from Dr. Sabian, look into stuff that he talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, God. And so the iceberg lettuce, you want to stay away from that. But the butter lettuce and the romaine and the red lettuce, those is good money. You know what I'm saying? And good in vitamins and like the folic acid too, you know.
Okay. What about the mushrooms, man? Talk about the mushrooms.
Mushrooms are very light food, but very powerful. So, like, I just had some of that today, actually. And it's good for, well, basically good for protein. And just if you're a vegan and you're getting into that and you're used to like the chicken and stuff, it's like a good replica too. Like when you chop it up, you could do a lot of stuff with those. And like I said, if you're more higher on the melanin scale, the mushrooms is good. It's like melanin food, feeds off of that. So it's like a charge for that. You know what I'm saying?
How about the okra?
Okra? Oh man, I used to hate okra as a kid. You know, because it just reminded me of boogers. It was so slimy. But right now, I mean, that's something I need to include more in my diet. It's pretty good as well for detoxing too, you know.
How about the spinach?
Spinach, from what I've heard, you should take spinach sparingly.
Okay.
Know, because too much of it can become acidic and it could, you know, do the reverse instead of an alkaline. You know.
How about tomatoes, man?
Tomatoes, pretty good as well too. I would include those into the raw, into your fruit salads, and you know, if you chefing up, you know what I'm saying. You could, you know, saute those too. I saute those.
How about zucchini?
Zucchini, those is very good.
Okay.
Like those, you gotta boil. Those is high in vitamin C too, and vitamin A.
How about the watercress?
Watercress, that's high in vitamin C as well. I would recommend those like like during the winter time. If you're trying to fight off all these flus, forget about going into the wing and having the doctor stick you up with all the mercury and all the needles and shit.
Okay.
Like you could, like that list that we just went through. A lot of those foods, that's not even half of the foods that you have access to as part of being a vegan. So.
One more, man. Squash. For the vegetables. Squash.
That I used to use. That's high in vitamin C as well. I used to use that more as into my juices. When I was juicing, I would have squash as an ingredient. I haven't really done too much cooking or made too many meals with those. But as far as juicing, squash, I would recommend that. And just put that into your diet as well too.
All right, let's talk about some fruits now, man. What about apples, man?
Apples, very good. Like for the fiber. And if you're trying to lose some weight, I recommend those a lot for my clients who want to lose weight, like having apples for a snack or just for breakfast, or when you want to go. And they're good for your teeth as well.
Okay, how about bananas?
Bananas, very good. Very good for like just muscle recovery and weight loss as well too.
Cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe, I love cantaloupe more than watermelon. Watermelon is good too, the black seeded one, but cantaloupe is one of my go-to fruits for the vitamin, vitamin A and K is good.
Yeah. Like
the beta carotene, and vitamin C is rich in that too. It's a power food as well.
How about cherries?
Cherries, one of my favorites as well. If it's ripe, when it's in season, when you get them, they cost a good penny, but those is rich in vitamins, vitamin C as well, and good for detoxifying your kidney and liver.
How about dates?
Dates, I don't like the taste of those, but I wouldn't say I'm too familiar with those, but those are pretty high on the pH scale too on the list as well.
Which way we walking? Walking that way?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. Walking talk. We do the walk. How about the figs, man? The figs.
Figs, I like those as well. High in vitamins, and for snacks, like when you want to go, I would recommend those too into the meal plans for my clients as well too.
How about grapes?
Grapes, that's a big thing. A lot of people make mistakes with those. They end up getting the seedless ones. Those are like, I don't know, those are like laboratory type grapes. Like those aren't really natural, and those you won't find on the alkaline scale, on the pH.
Those are not high alkaline, yeah.
Like red globe seeded ones, I would say those are pretty good.
How about limes, man? Limes.
Limes, those are good too for if you want to, clean and pure, like detoxify certain things. And if you want to add a little flavor to your juices and to your water, and I'll use those for detoxifying purposes. And if I'm making a little fruit salad, I'll cut up a few pieces of those.
How about mangoes?
Mangoes, that's like a power food right there, a whole food you would say. I'll try and get those on there in season as well. And I do a lot with those, like I said, in the morning. If I would have like probably a herbal tea and just a mango, just to keep me light and keep me going, I would have one of those. And during the winter, I eat those a lot, like I said, just to fight off like certain colds and flus. The mangoes and the kale is like two of my go-to fruits and salads.
How about the oranges?
Oranges, those are cool depending on which ones you get.
Ones with the seeds, definitely.
The ones with the seeds. Yeah. Very good for fighting off bacteria and viruses too.
Vitamin C.
Yes,
how about papaya?
Papaya, very good. Use it as a dressing and a topping on certain, if you like got like crackers and stuff like that. But it's on the alkaline scale as well, and that grows. Like I said, it has seeds as well. You want to make sure those are seeded. You don't want no hybrid shit. You know.
How about the peaches?
Peaches, yes, those are good. Those are on the alkaline scale. I recommend those.
How about pears?
Pears as well, yes sir.
Plums?
Plums, yes, we want to get those. Make sure, that's the thing with the fruits as well too. When you got the different colors in them, like the darker fruits is gonna help detoxify your kidneys and your liver and have a lot to do with purifying your blood as well. So you want to get those plums, the grapes, the cherries.
How about the prunes?
Prunes, yes, those is, I would recommend those if you're trying to lose weight as well, and if you're a little constipated and you know just having digestive issues.
Yeah, the prunes. How about raisins, man? Raisins.
Raisins, basically, what are those, like grapes dried? Grapes
All
dried.
right. So you want to talk about raisins? Leave the raisins alone.
Yeah.
How about soursop? You ever heard of soursop?
Soursop. Yeah, I've heard of it. Pretty
Not
popular.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about out here in the States.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All this stuff, I would advise getting them organic. It's a difference.
All right, let's talk about the nuts and the seeds, man.
Yeah.
How about the Brazilian nuts? Familiar with Brazilian nuts?
Yeah, Brazilian nuts. Those is good for fighting off viruses as well and your immune system because those are high in zinc. So
Okay. How about the hemp seeds? You heard of those?
Yeah.
Hemp seeds?
Yeah, those are really good too. I put those in the oatmeal and just on certain toppings.
How about almonds?
That's one of my most used things for like protein and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
How
Like
about
almond butter, like I said last video, and just the almonds for just being on the go, grabbing a few handfuls can fill you up.
how about the walnuts?
Walnuts, that's the brain food.
Yeah.
You know.
Pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds, yes.
Pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and sunflower seeds. Talk about the seeds for a minute.
Seeds, those is important too for those fatty acids and the oils that they produce. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And, you know, just the protein and stuff, all of that.
All right, let's
That's
talk.
what the seeds is good for. Like, if you're talking about vegan and you're looking for a source of protein, like all those nuts that we just went through and all those seeds that we went through, those can help you out as well for getting protein, the brain food, and you know just the fats that you need. And with all of those, you can make your own butter, like peanut butter. But peanut butter ain't good, so you want to use some of those nuts, Brazil nuts. You can make your own nut butter. Pause. And you know.
Okay, let's talk about some grains, alkaline grains. How about the amaranth? You ever heard of amaranth?
Yeah, I actually have some. Well, yeah, usually I have oatmeal that usually comes with that.
Okay.
It usually comes inside of it.
How about the black rice?
Yeah, that's one of the grains I usually eat for dinner.
Black rice.
Protein and iron.
How about the wild rice?
That's another one I use for dinner.
Okay.
That's one I get a lot of those grains. The black rice, the wild rice, the quinoa.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next. The quinoa and the spelt. How about spelt?
Spelt, I haven't really gotten into that too much, but
Okay. All right, the last one we're going to go through some teas.
yeah.
All right, how about ginger tea?
Ginger tea, very, very, very powerful.
Okay.
Every time that I ever had like a stomach virus or something like that, everything that I tried wouldn't work, you know. But once I drink some ginger tea with a little lime inside,
Okay.
you know, that calms it down.
Okay.
It's good
Let's go over
for
here about a
virus.
light real quick. We're going to get ready to end this off with the teas.
Good for virus fighting.
Okay, how about the lemongrass tea?
Lemongrass.
Familiar with that?
Yeah, pretty good. My favorite is, I like the chamomile. chamomile tea. It's common, and the echinacea for the zinc. Good for, these are good for building your immune system. That's my favorite.
Okay.
Go-to herbal teas.
All right, y'all. So Shredda gave us some good choices there that he feels is high on the alkaline. If you disagree or agree, you know, get on that comment board, get at him, let him know.
Yeah, you know, just do your research.
Yeah.
You know, if you disagree or if you want to look more. I advise everybody to do their own research and just to make it better, you know, just to improve on what you know.
Okay, and also we're gonna have a Q&A coming up, Q&A session. Leave your questions. You can send some to Shredda, send some to me. We're gonna do a Q&A. We're gonna answer some questions from the fans out there about, you know, diet, nutrition, weightlifting versus calisthenics, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, and also look out for the leg video. We got that coming up. So, some parting words for the people, Shredda, on this alkaline foods.
Yeah, that's how we should base our diet on. Just trying to have it more on the scale of the alkaline, but not too much, because it's all about balance. So some of those foods have some acidic properties in it to, you know, sustain balance. Gotta have balance.
Okay.
Because you could develop certain diseases from having too much alkaline. Alkalosis, I believe it's called, and then there's acidosis. So it's having their health. So you gotta stay in between.
All right, Shredda, thanks for the info, and remember, follow him, Master_Shredda on the gram, and go to IllionaireSociety.com, get that fresh gear, support that. All right, y'all, my man Shredda giving y'all his choices for the high alkaline foods. Thanks a lot once again, my brother. Salute.